Everything about corporate America is a humiliation ritual by design. It's all a psyop designed to keep everyday free thinking men like you and me from gaining any power. There's the confusing, often nonsensical hiring practices where men are forced to jump through hoops just to get an interview while women seem to have a golden ticket. There's all the little office parties and unofficial work gatherings you're supposed to go to. There's the corporate lingo they use to signal their in-group status amongst one another while simultaneously gatekeeping any free-thinking men that either don't understand how to play the game or that just refuse to play the game and refuse to talk like a retard because they actually have some respect for themselves. I swear to God, if you ever hear anybody at work saying something like, I just wanted to touch base about blah, 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 or we'll regroup and circle back to that later. If you hear anything like that, then you know you're dealing with an agent of the deep state. Okay, that's not a person. That's a fucking golem or something. A total NPC. Or at the very least, you know you're dealing with someone that's willing to just go along with whatever they're told to do. And that's actually why women tend to be more successful in the modern corporate environment. They tend to be more agreeable and they care more about fitting in. So naturally, they make for the perfect little worker bee foot soldiers for the elite class. Not that there aren't any men that are just as bad. There definitely are. In fact, probably most men are cucked by corporate aristocracy. But I don't really blame anyone for doing what's best for themselves. It is really hard to thrive in this society if you don't play the game, so I do get it, but I just can't do it. I was in that corporate environment for maybe 4 to 5 years, and before that, and for a while after that, I was in the university system, which is really the same thing. If you're in college, then you are in corporate America. You're just not getting paid for it. They make you pay for the privilege of joining the corporate system. That's one of the most remarkable successes of the corporate psyop. Not only are they successful in attracting willing participants to their little indoctrination facilities, but they actually get people to pay for their own brainwashing. But yeah, I was in corporate America. I went through the university system. And I was relatively successful at it. I graduated magna cum laude, and then I also got a master's degree later on. But my success was in spite of the system, because I did face resistance. I never really played the game like you're supposed to, or I didn't fully play the game. I did do all the phony, useless, busy work they make you do just to demoralize yourself. I did that, I applied to jobs, I went to career fairs, I wrote cover letters. So I did do kind of the bare minimum, but there was always resistance. The only reason I even managed to get hired at the place I did is because they actually hired someone else, but that person just never showed up for work. Then they were panicking to fill the position, and I had actually just emailed the supervisor like a couple weeks before that to inquire about openings, and it was a small company that didn't really have a functioning human resources department at the time, so I guess it was just easier to hire me rather than go through the trouble of putting up a job posting and everything. I had met my future supervisor at a career fair, by the way. So, like I said, I did play the game a little bit, but I didn't play it enough. And it's like I was just hard capped at that position once I got in. Now, to be fair, I do have severe social anxiety, so that did play a role in my lack of upward mobility. But it is true that I did refuse to play along any more than I had to. Like all the little celebrations of women they try to force upon you, I just didn't participate in that because it's obviously bullshit. And legally, they are not allowed to formally punish you for refusing to go to some voluntary social gathering. I did get some backlash, for sure, and maybe they would have eventually found a reason to fire me if I didn't quit before they could. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about with these corporate celebrations of women, Anytime a woman got married or she got knocked up, they would always throw a little party for her, usually during work hours. So, legally they can't force you to attend something like that, but there's a lot of social pressure. Call me crazy if you want. I know this might sound a bit conspiratorial, but I'm pretty sure all these baby showers and wedding showers, it's all part of the psychological operation. It's all a demoralization campaign. I mean, since when are men expected to go to baby showers? That's just something women do to have a reason to feed their own ego. And especially in the workplace, what are we doing here? I think what's really going on behind the scenes is they're trying to demoralize men like me, the underclass of men that are designated only for work. No sex, no love, no intimacy, just work. No fulfillment, just work. That's all the system wants from me. So these baby showers and wedding showers, bridal showers, whatever you call it, it's just another way of putting us in our place. It's how they remind everyone of the approved corporate hierarchy. Women are on top, then it's NPC men, then at the bottom, it's all the involuntary eunuchs like me. The men that don't get any reward from their hard work, but we are expected to work hard regardless. I did go to a couple of the after-hours work gatherings early on, and I went to one baby shower, but after that, I was done. I could see it for what it was, and I don't know to call this a curse or a superpower, but my brain will not allow me to just play along with some bullshit that is literally designed to keep me demoralized and subservient. I remember the baby shower I did go to. It wasn't even for a regular employee. This girl was just a temp worker, but she was really young, probably like 22, I think. And she was hot too, or her body was, at least. Probably ruined now, but yeah, I remember she would wear yoga pants and these tight dresses with super thin material. I think you call it a maxi dress. But it was really inappropriate for the workplace. But anyways, this girl got knocked up out of wedlock, of course. I don't even think she was dating the guy. But they threw a baby shower for her, and I went. And let me tell you, that's a humiliation ritual in itself. Being a single man at a baby shower, I had to just sit there and watch while everyone celebrated the fact that this attractive young woman let some random pro soccer player boink her. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure they weren't even dating, but the guy did come to the baby shower, and I remember a lot of my coworkers were just fawning over this guy because he was a professional athlete. Even the men, everybody was fawning over this guy, and it's like, he's a pro soccer player in the United States. That barely even counts as a pro athlete. If he was any good, he'd be playing in Europe. But anyways, I just had to sit there while everyone celebrates this young Stacy and this soccer Chad just for the fact that they did something very irresponsible that resulted in a pregnancy. Everyone's giving this girl gifts and making her the center of attention and treating her like she's a queen. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there knowing damn well this girl would never give me the time of day. Why should I be subjected to that in the workplace? Is that supposed to boost productivity? Is that supposed to be fun? I'm already aware of the fact that there are attractive people in this world living lives that I couldn't even imagine. Don't make me celebrate it. That's the most demoralizing thing I could even think of. And she was just a temp worker. She worked there for like 6 weeks or something, yet they threw a party for her in the middle of the workday. I worked there for like 4 or 5 years, and I never got a party. It's just another reminder for all of us miserable work cells that some people are living life on easy mode while the rest of us are grinding away, toiling our lives away just to go home and be alone again. So we can sit in front of our computers watching slop COD commentary YouTube videos, eating our slop fast food before we pass out at 1 a.m. just to wake up the next morning bright and early at 6 a.m., ready to do it all over again. But it's not enough that they already got me as a indentured servant at this place. That's not enough. They got to pressure me into going to this freaking Chad and Stacy celebration party so I can have one puny slice of cake while, it's not enough for me just to know that this attractive young lady is effortlessly living life like royalty. For some reason, I guess it's important they make sure that I also get to see the guy that got to unload up inside her. It's like important directive all the way from corporate leadership. Attention, all oofy doofies and all work cells currently in the office. Please make your way to the cafeteria and observe carefully what it looks like to live life when you have won the genetic lottery. Please take a good look at the life you will never have, you fucking losers. Enjoy. Feel free to have a slice of cake on your way out. Like, what's the point, if not just to be a humiliation ritual? Seriously, why are they putting us through this? I learned my lesson after that first time. I never went to another work baby shower after that. I remember one time this guy that was basically like our very own Bill Lumbergh. If you've ever seen Office Space, Bill Lumbergh is the manager that's always just very corporate and very passive aggressive. Well, we had a guy that was just like that. He was pretty high up in the corporate hierarchy, but he was just insufferable. I swear to God, literally every sentence this guy spoke had some kind of corporate jargon in it. Like he was incapable of speaking without using buzzwords. I remember his big thing was value added. He was always talking about the importance of making sure everything you do is value added. Like, bro, I think the most value added process that could happen here would be if you got in a car wreck on the way to work this morning. I don't actually wish harm upon this man, by the way. He knows not that what he does is wrong, hopefully. But yeah, this Bill Lumbergh archetype came into my office one day and he was like, "Hey, did you hear there's a baby shower for Lauren today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I heard." And he says, "Well, it would be great if you could make it this time. There's going to be protein cake." Because I guess because I was kinda medium jacked back then, he thought protein cake would sound appealing to me. So basically he was trying to subtly let me know, like, hey, you need to go to the humiliation ritual today. You've been skipping out on all the humiliation rituals lately, so like, what are you, not a team player? It felt like he was putting me on warning. I know some of you are probably thinking, I'm overthinking this. He was just trying to be nice and make sure I knew about the baby shower. But it definitely had a nefarious vibe. This guy was the angel of death at this place, by the way. Everyone knew he was the guy that told people when they got fired. He was nothing more than an agent of the corporate Psyop, hiding behind corporate buzzwords and lame dad jokes. I swear, any time of day, no matter where you were in the building, you could always hear this guy's fake laugh echoing through the halls like the fucking bell that tolls upon the death of your soul. So, I'm not overthinking this, okay? He was putting me on notice that these things aren't really optional. The baby showers and the bridal showers and all that, those things actually serve an important purpose for the corporation. That's part of how they demoralize all the hardworking men. It's a buck-breaking event. Come and see as we celebrate a happy life that you will never get to live. Come pretend to be happy while you quietly die inside. Then get back to work, you fucking loser. So, yeah, this guy comes and reminds me about the baby shower, and he's like, "So, you think you'll be able to make it?" And I was just like, "I don't know, maybe." And he goes, "You should." Then he just kind of slowly walked out, very Lumbergh-esque. And I remember he tapped on this table that was over by the door. As he was walking out, he tapped on this table and he was like, "Think about it." I mean, just what a freaking douchebag, but I think the thing that pisses me off the most about how these corporate NPC golems operate is that they're never direct about anything. Everything's always passive aggressive. Everything's hidden behind a wall of plausible deniability. So when someone like me does manage to resist their psychological manipulations, I'm the one that looks crazy if I speak out about it. Like, these NPCs are actively trying to crush my soul into the dirt, so I play along with whatever nefarious machinations they got going on. Like, I don't even know really what the point of all this is, but it's obvious they don't want men to thrive. Not men like me, anyways. If you were born into a wealthy family or you play along with the system, then sure, maybe you get to thrive, but not me, not most of us. They want us to hate ourselves. They want us numb to the fact that our quality of life is steadily decreasing. Cost of living keeps going up while our wages do not. And they want us to just eat cake and forget about it. And, oh, if you're miserable, that's your problem. Look at Stacy. See how happy Stacy is here? Like, yeah, I bet she is happy getting paid just as much as I do as an engineer while working in some bullshit marketing role where she doesn't actually do any work. I swear to God, the only thing these marketing chicks are actually marketing is their own asses while they walk around the office in their yoga pants and their maxi skirts, just giggling and flirting with the higher ups. And yes, obviously, I know that there are women that actually do a great job at whatever their job is. I have seen that too. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend there's actually equality in the modern workplace, because there's not. Not even close. I mean, just look at what it takes to even get a job in the first place if you're a man. You have to submit probably hundreds of applications, if not thousands, to even get a single interview. Then the interview process starts with a quote-unquote phone screen where they let Becky from HR decide if you get to move on or not. Better hope you don't give Becky the ick, because your future is in her hands. Just like some random guy from Bumble's hot dog probably was mere hours before you talk to her. Then if you make it past the phone screen, at that point, you're only like 10% of the way to getting hired. Now you got to do a Zoom call with 2 or 3 other corporate Lumberg types that are all just trying to evaluate you on how much of a cuck you are. Because the thing you got to know about these job interviews, your skills don't matter. Your qualifications don't matter. All that matters is how well you fit into their company culture, which really just means they're looking for someone that'll just sit there and take it while they take advantage of you, making you work increasingly longer hours for less and less purchasing power, since inflation will most likely outpace any wage increases you get. And the way they're evaluating you at this stage is they want to make sure you're using all the right corporate lingo. You got to say all the right buzzwords. Bonus points if you say something about how important diversity is or how much women struggle in this patriarchy. They want to make sure the guy they're hiring is an absolutely brainless NPC. That is the most important thing. So then if you make it past the Zoom interview, now you get to do an in-person interview. Maybe. Sometimes you have to do another Zoom interview, or maybe even 2 or 3 more Zoom interviews before the in-person interview. And there's usually at least 2 in-person interviews. So by the time you actually get hired, you've already spent probably 10 or more hours of your own time, unpaid, just going through the interview process. And that's not just about evaluating your fit for the job. They are intentionally wasting your time to make sure that you are somebody that's going to play the game. Play the game by their rules. They want to make sure you're someone they can take advantage of. That's all this is about. And this is just anecdotal, but there was a girl I did a group project with back in college, and she got a high-paying internship with a prestigious company. And get this, she literally didn't even apply for this job. They offered her an interview just because she was in some women's engineering society on campus. So they reached out to her. Then she had one single 30-minute phone interview, and that was it. They hired her just based on that. So then she did that internship. Then they offered her a full-time job after that, where she got to travel the world, making 6 figures starting out, plus a per diem. She was in my group for our senior design project, which was 2 semesters. So that's why I know they offered her a full-time job, because she worked the internship during our last semester, and then she was talking about how she got the job. I guess it was technically a co-op instead of an internship since she worked during the school year, but, whatever, pretty much the same thing. Okay, so I'm not saying that's the standard hiring process for women. Obviously, they aren't all just getting random job offers out of the blue like that without even applying. But this girl did receive that offer just because she was in this Women in Engineering club. So that's just one way that these corporations give women affirmative action. As a man, I couldn't possibly have got that same offer. I mean, I'm sure a man could be in that Women in Engineering club. In fact, I did know a guy that was in that club, but I don't think he got that same offer. I think that was only for the actual women. Funny enough, though, that guy did also get his job through a club that I could not have been in. His was through a Hispanic engineering club. He got hired by a major automotive manufacturer that all of you have heard of through that club. And he probably ended up being good at his job. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He was a good student and everything. He was a smart guy. Same for this girl I'm talking about, by the way. She was probably good at that job, but I could have been good at that job too. But they would never fast track me through the hiring process like that. They would never headhunt me like that, no matter what club I was in, because I'm not able, I don't have the right identity to join any sort of identity-based group on campus like that. It's not even an option for me. I do not fit any demographic identity-based criteria that they are looking for in a candidate. So for me to get that same job, I guarantee I would have had to humiliate myself through 6 rounds of interviews with 6 different corporate stooges, wasting hours of my own time, unpaid. Fuck that. I'm not playing that game. I tried to play that game, and I did have some success, but at the end of the day, I was just a work cell. Okay, I was a cog in the machine, not getting a whole lot of benefit out of it either. So, do what you got to do to survive, obviously. If you have to play the game, then play the game. I'm sure it beats being homeless. I recognize that not everybody has the same fortunate situation that I have where I'm able to live with my parents, but it shouldn't have to be like this. It should not have to be like this. If you resonated with anything I'm saying, or you found this thought-provoking at all, please check out some of my other videos. There's also some secret videos on my Patreon that you can watch for free. You don't even have to sign up. So check that out if you want. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.